Yes, yes, yes. It is the Cast Worthy podcast, and we are back. I am Big Steve, aka Last of a Dying Breed, on the Twitter machine, joined today by EJ, the Dean of Toxicity, Savage, on this beautiful Sunday, July 24th. How are you, sir?
I am not well. I've had a whole night of fun and drinking that actually started with my mom. Took my mom out to brunch, and that was the first drink I had. Then it's been a
Oh,
downhill spiral from there.
wait. You took your mom out to brunch, and that led to a long night of drinking.
Mm-hmm.
So you were drinking since yesterday morning.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
This time yesterday. Yep.
nice. Happy birthday to Godmommy, my godmother, your mother.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd you take her?
So we have a place in Baltimore called the Rusty Scupper.
Oh, I think
They,
I've heard of that. Or maybe you've told us about it.
yeah, probably told you about it because I took Eric there actually. And they have brunch buffets on Sundays, but not on Saturdays.
Hmm.
I didn't realize or remember that. Took her there yesterday thinking that they had the brunch buffet. They have their regular lunch and dinner menu. I'm like, every place in the city has brunch at this hour. Why on a Saturday do you guys want to be different? So we had to find another place called Little Havana, and it's a Cuban place. I don't think any Cubans run it, but it's a Cuban place, Cuban
Surprise.
themed place, and we went there. So that was good.
What was on the menu?
They have a weird menu, just overall. They just have it's one of those like places that just they just do too much.
Mm.
And so stuff is just really complicated. But she had a good egg white and spinach omelet, and I had like a wrap, and then I had like some chorizo with eggs. But it's just weird. It's a weird place, but it was good.
Do they have like bottomless drinks? Anything?
They do have the bottomless mimosas thing, but I
You don't
mean,
drink mimosas?
yeah, when you use artificial orange juice, that ruins your mimosa.
Yeah. Or trashy fucking champagne.
Champagne.
Like, like if you're using brute, the bottom level 4.99 a bottle champagne, that shit tastes like fucking sweat sock.
Yep. Tastes like mechanic sweat.
Yeah, I don't know what a mechanic sweat tastes like, but I
I've been a mechanic part time before, so
I don't
tastes
know
my
any
own sweat.
I don't know any female mechanics, so it wouldn't be possible. Um. So what else, man? What was the Saturday like? What was the rest? You know, it's crazy because Florida's like that too. Like if you look for a brunch spot on Saturday, the spots that are popping for brunch, you're probably not gonna find like the one that you went to, Santiago's Bodega.
Hmm.
Shout out to them. If you're in Orlando, definitely try that out. But if you go there on Saturday, they don't do the brunch shit either. Like a lot of them reserve it for Sunday
Which is
specifically.
stupid. Which is really stupid because Sunday for working people, everybody doesn't want to get toasted on a Sunday. Sometimes Saturday is the day that they need that time and reservation to do what they're going to do because they want to work on Monday, i.e.,
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
So,
I know when I
yeah.
was in New Orleans, they'd fucking do brunch damn near every day, everywhere we went.
Yeah, New Orleans. Whew. Did you go to Tropical Isle when you went there? Did you get a hand grenade?
No, no, I got a bunch of
Wow.
different. I got a bunch of different kind of frozen shits. Is that if that's what the hand grenade is?
No, the hand grenade is the hand grenade. And I told you to go there, but kind of glad you didn't because you probably would have been shit faced.
Mm. Or COVIDed.
Both.
Yeah. So what else was your Saturday like, man?
Well, I went to a live podcast, uh, Booney Breakdown. Um,
So what else was your Saturday like?
one of those live podcast experiences, crowd interaction, a lot of women in the spot. My homeboy Brian, he was one of the only male guests on there, and it was just dope. And then from there, went out to this club, and had some fun, man. Had too much fun, I would say.
Did you ask questions at the podcast?
I did not. I didn't get too interactive with them. I just watched and had fun with it, but it's cool.
Okay, okay. And then
What
you
I
went out.
learned,
Go ahead.
what I learned was we as males need more male podcasts. We need to be more toxic. We need to be more ourselves
You need
because we
more.
we try to hide who we are and what we think, and women have no real clue of what we think.
All right, let's go right. Well, I mean, since we're here, let's talk about it. It's funny you say that. Tell me more. Tell me what your meaning is behind that is.
So the entire podcast, right? A lot, and I see this a lot in what I watched or heard from that podcast. They talk about the male anatomy, how guys are trash in bed, but we think we're better and all this other kind of stuff. And Brian was my only guy up there talking about what's real, but I really think that women think all of their I think they think they're all created equal. Vagina's not all created equal.
Mm-hmm.
And they think that they have some control of whether or not they're good in bed, and they don't. It's really us that motivate what we like in sex, and we please them. Every vagina is not equal. It's just not. Some are better than others that have nothing to do with any elements other than the scientific chemistry between us and them. And they don't
That's
realize that.
that's true.
Some women could be something you start having sex with, in 2 minutes you're done. There's others that you might be in there for 2 hours and not be done. They don't understand that, and those are things that are completely out of everyone's control. But they really believe in their mind that they control this. And Missy, they reference the Missy song, "Pussy Don't Fail Me Now." Missy, you ain't got no control of that, Holmes. Like it's just science between that guy and you.
Yeah.
And so things like
Sometimes it's
that, we
more
gotta let them
mental.
know. They also don't realize the mental value that men have about everything. We are visual creatures.
Right.
We have
Right.
to see everything.
Right. So
So
if you're self conscious about yourself and you cutting the lights off and then you wonder why homie's not ready, there you go. We're visual. We visual. We not gonna sit there and be like, uh you butt ass naked. We gonna be like, oh no, I'm done because I see a little belly there. No, no, we here for a reason. We done pictured that belly 100 times leading up to this, if not more.
you nailed it right on the head. And I just think women today have this superficial idea of dudes. And honestly, I guess based on what they say, I guess a lot of dudes are like out of pocket. They just superficial. I don't know, but it's not us. It's not the guys with the dad bods.
I
It's
think
it's
it's
some other people.
it's partially society, right? Society is telling people what the norm is nowadays. Societal norms tell people that you got to eat ass, for it to be worth it. You got
You
to
should.
you got to. Well, I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but I'm saying that people think every encounter has to be that, right? Where homie's eating your ass and licking you from front to back, and and then you get to be the prude. You know what I'm saying? You see all these memes and shit, and again, memes don't mean nothing except they do mean something because it's telling people what life should be. And you see all these memes about, oh, he drowned down there, he came up looking like a wet cat, and blah blah blah, right? So that's what people are expecting their experience to be nowadays. You know what I'm saying? And these young kids, I'm sure these young boys ain't about that life. These young boys is trying to get in, get out, and keep it moving. Like I remember when I was 20, 21, 22. Same thing. Like, you think I care about? Listen, one of us had a good time. One of us enjoyed that shit.
And they were talking about women faking it, and then the concept of men faking it was like foreign to some of the women that's in the crowd, and that's why I had to say, like, all vaginas not created equal. So what are you doing to equally make sure your partner is having a good experience? And then it's like, if you're faking it as a woman, you're cheating yourself.
Right.
And
Let me put women onto something real quick.
yeah,
Men's version of faking it, just because we get to finish don't mean we didn't fake something. We faked that we were there with you. We were picturing and thinking of someone completely different. That's
wow.
men's faking.
Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Keep it, if we're going to keep it a buck here, we're going to keep it a buck.
1,000. Yeah.
Right? Like we because we're visual.
Yep.
And we stimulate much easier, I'm sure, right? Much easier. Like, we can get there much
Not
easier.
mentally. Not mentally, no.
No. I mean physically.
I don't think so. I don't think so with that either. But I'm with you though. I'm with you. Keep going.
So I think we can get there quicker just by simply taking our mind somewhere else. I think we're better at that than women. Women just aren't mentally able to take themselves somewhere else to where now they don't have to fake it. Now, they're too busy engulfed in that moment, And maybe some of them do, right? Like, and that's the difference between a homemaker and a hoe, right? If you can't do that, then you probably should be a homemaker, and you should probably be married and have your long term. But if you can do that, and you can just get your rocks off, then you should be a hoe. Be a man. You know what I'm saying? Like, society tells us we don't have genders anymore, right? So there you go.
Yeah, I think you spot on 100%. I think you're 100% right. And like you said, I think that whole part of us faking it, we go reverting to the best sex we ever had, and we do this thing where we kind of go in between knowing the reality and then going back to the past, and then we tie it all together, and then we still say I love you at the end. You know what I mean? So I just think that women today, especially women today, have no fucking clue what men are really about. They don't.
And sometimes it's not even the best that you ever had. Sometimes it's just the one that you want to have. You know what I'm saying?
It's your option now because that's what you're committed to. It ain't the best. Sometimes the
No,
best
I mean what you think about. That's what I mean. Like when we're thinking like, oh, all right, this is kind of she being prude. She she don't want to turn the lights on. She don't want to take her shirt off. Men are thinking of their last, either that last good or the one that they want. Like, Felicia that they work with. That,
Yeah. And shout out to the Booney Breakdown podcast. They did talk about it. If you're still having sex with your shirt off, you need to just stop having sex. I mean, with your shirt on rather. You need to just stop having sex. It's bad. Too grown for this, man. Got a belly? Bring it out.
Right.
Bring it out.
Listen, never since the beginning of time. Well, let me take this back.
Back in the day.
Never since the beginning of time has a real motherfucker seen a little belly after the shirt came off and been like, yeah, nah, I can't do this.
And
never.
And that's the thing. They're apparently, supposedly, because sometimes women, I'm feeling like women of today's generation, you don't know if what they're saying is for shock value or if they just actually experience this shit. Because they talk about so many dudes that just have these ways about them that, oh, they didn't like my belly and this thing. I'm like, who the fuck are you talking to? Where are these people at? Like, what's going on with you? Like, I don't know any men like this. I don't.
Right. And maybe postscript, right? And they might finish and then be like, hey, P.S., I'm not about that belly, but they not gonna leave. Like, and if they do, it's a problem. Like, listen, man. Listen.
Who are these people?
They not nasty. That's all.
Yeah,
I'll tell you one thing.
And for us, as for men to be such a nasty gender, how are you finding so many of these prudish, scared men. Where are you hunting at? Where are you going?
Yeah, I go back to being young, and the only thing that would turn me away would be a scent. You know what I'm saying? Like once, like if you there, right? It's chances that you were waiting. You've been waiting to get there in most cases. You know what I'm saying? You're like, yo, I can't wait. This is gonna happen. You know, and then it finally happens. I guarantee you, once you take your shirt off and your top off or whatever, that if that's the type of dude, he not gonna be out. He not
Yeah.
gonna be out. The one thing is gonna be if the scent ain't right, and so then you got to do some soul searching.
Yep. That's it. That's it. But other than that, man, went out, had some fun. Got to talk to some nice looking women of the city. Um, yeah, just enjoying the single life.
The single life again, huh?
Yeah, seems like with me, man. And you mentioned somebody last week, and I was probably the only person that I was with in life outside of my ex-wife that I was with for multiple years. But it just seems like with me, I don't have a tolerance to deal with nonsense. So when some time comes around and you just get tired of nonsense, you got to walk away. Got to preserve yourself. When arguments become the foundation of what you got going on, and it's meaningless arguments, you got to find something else to do.
That's true, and you're an asshole. So I can only imagine like being on the other end of that asshole pause, like that from that standpoint. It could I could see
Dean
how
of
that goes.
toxicity, man. But no, I try to listen. I try to do the right thing. I just, with everything going on in the world, black men are, it's crazy because we've been told in the society from certain people that black men are the white men of the black community. We have privilege. We have all these things, but we're the ones getting jailed the most, killed by police, killing each other, etc. With all of that going on, just because you're a big black man, I don't want to have uh dissension, fighting, issues with the person I love. Who wants that? For no reason. Who wants that? And when that becomes the crux of what you're dealing with, you gotta go. I have enough stress from the world. I don't need it at home.
That's a good point. Yeah, sometimes it's just a matter of support. Even if you take it away from the cops and all of that, just put it back to what you were talking about, just the community. Like in the community and the culture, the we as big brolic black men just are not, I don't think, supported the way we should, because people expect, like, I don't know, have you been you've been caught up on P Valley, right?
Yeah.
So I caught up until the, not this episode that's plays today, because I know it came out last night. I didn't watch that one yet, but I caught up until last episode. And spoiler alert, if you're a P Valley watcher, you about to hear it. But like Big Teak, you know what I'm saying? Thugged out, 100%. Riding for my dogs, right? First of all, P Valley, you got me fucked up with that scene with him and Lil Murda. Like, you got me fucked all the way up. Like, that was a little bit much. That's too much for TV.
They went way too hard, yo.
Yeah, they went too far there. But
only do that with the males.
Yeah, but I mean, but there's a mental aspect to that, to all of it, to everything that they've been showing. You know what I'm saying? And I guarantee you that there are people like that out there. We see it all the time. We see these rappers that are coming, and they're like, oh well, I like cross dressers and I like men and whatever, right? And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But in our society, in our culture, they have to hide that. They can't be themselves because they're black men. And as a black man, you have to, while we don't want societal norms to come into the black culture, right? Because we don't want men to be like, hey, I want a woman that cooks and cleans and takes care of home. You still have the expectation of that black man being the provider.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have one way societal norms in the black community, but you can't have it the other way, and that's what makes things challenging. And you got people, and I want to go past the homosexuality there piece, the overall mental anguish, the overall mental instability of that man for him to kill himself, right? He commits suicide eventually. And leading up to it, beyond all the shit with Little Murder, he talks about all the shit that happened when he was younger as a kid, right? I guarantee you, in the life that he lived, going through school, spent some time in jail, chilling with his homies, nobody ever asked him, yo, anything happened when you was younger that made you this way? You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem, right? We're expected to be the rock. We're expected to be the one that, we got them shoulders, let it fall on you. You're the baseline of your family, of your friends, and everything, but nobody checks on you, and that's the problem with black people.
Yo, I think you're 100% right. Although that whole situation and episode and show has been crazy, even when you look at the security guard, Diamond, and the things that he's going through mentally because he wants to protect the young stripper that's with the white guy who's
Mm-hmm.
abusive and all of that. He's going through it. Nobody gives a shit. You know what I mean? And I mean, I even experienced this last Saturday where like I wasn't feeling well, car was messed up. But the person I was talking to expected me to just drop everything and come see an apartment with her. Just see an apartment. And at no point in time was there any grace for me to say, hey, you got something going on. I get it. I'm okay. I went out there, I drove 30 minutes to walk around apartment for 10 minutes. And there was no question of are you okay? What's going on? And like you said, we're charged with being providers. It's like, oh, what kind of man are you gonna be? What are you doing? What's this? What's that? And no one cares about the in between. They don't. And as a society, you want to tell us on the surface, you care about us when we're getting jailed and beat up, but really you don't. You're ridiculing us, you're talking crazy. It's so much, and there's so much disconnect between black men and black women today. It's horrible. And I always say it's because of the sins of our fathers' generations. They were so bad that there's a whole generation of women. They felt that. But what I try to tell them is the same time, the same way you felt it, we felt it too. So that's where there's so much disconnect, so much dissension. It's so much just we're just not in the same place, man. And it's bad. And as black men, we're feeling it. And don't let you get a white girl, because then you're really gonna be bad. You really gonna be a
Or
scumbag.
right, you're the scumbag, or you might be appreciated,
Or you might be happy.
right? And that's and right, and so that's part of understanding, right? What are they doing different? And sure, we went through a lot, and if they're willing, right, they may just be completely sensitive to what their ancestors did, and that might be the way they treat the person that they decide to start a relationship with. But what are they doing? What is someone outside of the black culture doing for black men that makes them want to continue to go outside of that culture? Versus saying, oh, this person, this is a blah, blah, blah. Why is he, when he only deals with white girls, he only deals with Spanish girls, and blah, blah, blah. He don't fuck with no black girls. Instead of thinking that, think about what is it that this person's getting from over there. It don't got to just be sex. It don't just got to be physical, right? It could just be the fact that, hey, listen, I don't need to constantly hear you out with your homies and you don't spend no time with me. You put your friends in front of me. You don't make no time. Like that's the problem, right? And I think also, right, if you want to talk about forefathers and ancestors, women in general, minority women, have a hard time getting past what their fathers did, what their mothers did, right? And they don't want to be secondhand to that, right? So your mom put up with a dude that was a scumbag, and you feel like any little thing that you put up with this man makes you putting up with a scumbag, when it could be 100 times worse. You got a dude that just want to go out and have a drink with his homies, maybe watch a game, and it could be you have a dude that wants to go out and go to the club and smash bitches on the side. You know what I'm saying? It could be 100 times worse.
Mm-hmm.
So you're magnifying something to 100x when it's just, yo, I just need to get away. I'm mentally fucking charged right now. And my getaway is go have a drink. I want to go chill. I want to watch a game, and that's it. And then I'll be right back. And
Yeah.
women don't understand that, and that's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. And you see the hypocrisy when black men are charged, the athletes are charged with dealing with white women, but then when the black women do it, oh, it's because we tired of your shit, with the Rihannas, the various the Viola Davises, the various people that deal with white guys is different, and it's because they tired of this shit. Honestly, man, black men and black women right now, we're tired of each other's shit, but we gotta hear each other. We gotta fucking be able to be in the space to talk and understand that the world is hard for us both, and we can't have it one way, either way. If a dude is a piece of shit, he needs to be told he's a piece of shit. If a woman's not doing right and they're a piece of shit, you have to be held accountable. Being a woman isn't absolving you of being a piece of shit. It's not. You don't get absolved for being a bad partner, being a bad person because you're a woman. Just as a man should not. We're not in the 80s, 90s anymore where, gender culture. Listen, we're all so much aware of gender things and privilege. Okay, me as men have to accept that shit. We have to understand that. We're doing that. What are y'all doing? What are women doing to accept that the gender things that they do are fucked up? What are they doing? Not much, in my opinion. Not much at
They're
all.
they're not because our society tells us. And listen, I don't want anybody to misconstrue what's about to be said, but society tells people that postpartum is the worst that you can get, right? They make it to where, well, this person carried a child and they went through this and their body changed and XYZ, so they have the right to be a fucking scumbag, right? But as mentally taxing as that is on them, all the events that lead up to you being an adult as a dark-skinned man is just as mentally taxing, and we're dealing with that shit tenfold, just the same. So while y'all are saying, "Oh, well, she's dealing with X and she's dealing with Y, and she's so it's okay," nobody ever says, "Well, he's dealing with X, or he dealt with X, or he dealt with Y, and it's okay for him to be that way." Or maybe we need to find out how to make him not be that way. How do we fix him? How can we help him? It's never that. It's, girl, you need to leave him, find somebody else.
even even with the even with the postpartum discussion, right? That being a thing, at no point that's just like saying, okay, someone has a mental illness condition, uh, schizophrenia, whatever you may want to say, and that's like saying dealing with someone with a health issue is easy and you should just deal with it and it's not going to affect you. So you have postpartum. So now you're depressed. Now you're angry. Now you're all of these different things to everyone else. So we as a society is supposed to just accept that that's how you are to treat everyone else. But no one talks about what that makes that person feel. So while you're upset, you're moody, you're in these different things, we're supposed to just accept that. Where's the relief? Where's the discussion for the male? Because they the one thing they'll do, they'll explain to you, they'll say, well, postpartum can come and these are the things that she's gonna do, and you need to accept that. But they never say, hey, you motherfucker, you're going through postpartum. You need to realize you're putting that guy through this.
Right.
No one
You put
talks about that.
Yeah, that same stress that you're dealing with, you're transferring that stress over to him.
Who did
And
nothing to you?
and right, who did absolutely nothing, and all he's trying to do is be there.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And then yeah, so yeah. So I think we've hammered that home. What was the name of the pod that you went to see last night?
The Booney Breakdown.
Okay. I think I saw them on our Instagram, which by the way is castworthy_podcast.
Yes, I was in Booney's DM.
If you could find us,
She
you
has a
could
nice
like, you
juicy
could
booty.
comment, and I look forward to peeping some of their content. And perhaps maybe we can have a little discussion because it's never beneficial to have a one-way conversation, a one-way discussion, right? So you got two men here, discussing the one side of the relationship, and I'm sure on women podcasts, which we've seen, you got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 24, 35 women discussing that one side of things. So it's important for it to be a group effort. And
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I'm glad that they at least keep one resident male on their podcast. But it's like when the truth is being said, it's not a lot that can be argued against it. And we all just got to take some time and look in the mirror sometimes if we really want this black love thing to work.
shit, love in general.
Yeah, yeah.
you know. Um and yeah, right. And I'm sure it happens in other cultures too. But sometimes in other cultures the leash is longer. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when you watch, you just watch and you look, and I mean, I don't know how many white couple friends you have, but I have some since moving to Florida, and you watch, and it's not the same. The leash is much, much longer. Like you hear stories of, the white girl that stayed with her white husband or boyfriend after he did dirt. And I'm not saying that's what it should be. Like that's a long, 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 long leash. But you hear stories of that. So I
Mm-hmm.
have to assume that if they're willing to deal with that, then they're absolutely willing to deal with, oh, he didn't wipe the toilet seat after he, drizzled a little bit, or you know what I'm saying? Like I think the ask is, when you talk about relationship asks and stuff like that, it's completely different. You know what I'm saying? Like from a men's standpoint, we ask really simple shit. Like for us, it's like, yo, you mind fucking sweeping up? You mind, not making the garbage bag too fucking heavy so the shit breaks when I go to throw it in the trash? Like those are our simple asks. You know what I'm
Yo,
saying?
I tell people all the time. Leonard Skinner has a song called "Simple Man," and it's just that real. Men are simple creatures. We do routine shit from August to fucking January. You know what your guy's on.
Right.
You
Most
know
cases.
what he's on in most cases. And it's like, but these women are reporting some wild and outrageous shit. And I feel sorry for the ones that have to deal with these guys. They're on some shit.
Right.
But yo, I don't know.
And that's the other piece too, right? We would be ignorant to make it seem like what they're experiencing from others is not real, is not a real thing, which I'm sure there are, right? Um, but a lot of times that's choice. You know what I'm saying? Like you choose to stay, right? And because maybe you're scarred and maybe you dealt with some scumbags in the past, and so that makes it difficult. But and so don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that all men make life easy for women, but you can't allow your previous experiences to tarnish the experience and cause a failed experience for your future. And
Yep.
and that's what people have to understand. I think on both sides.
Yep. 100% right. That's what I experienced every time. Almost every time.
Yeah. Yeah. So you went out to a club after the pod last night. Was this like a club or this was like a bar like
It's a club. It's a club. They man, listen. Shout out to Safari nightclub. They revamped the whole place. Bars everywhere. They got food, they got hookah, they got it's just a vibe. Like it's just a whole experience. And some beautiful women in there last night.
Is
Um,
that right?
yeah, yeah, some beautiful women. But again, you know, I don't know. I should have probably talked some more, but I don't know. I think the thing is, right, is just we today as a society, I don't know what we doing, what we going on, got going on, but I don't know, man. I'm to the point, to the conclusion. I'm just it's gonna be me and the dog in the pod. Me,
Yeah,
the dog, in the pod. That's all I can do.
I can see that.
Me, the
I can
dog,
see,
the pod, and the girls. That's
and
it.
right,
With
and
the girls self-explanatory, but yeah,
yeah,
I don't think I need any other extracurricular things going on.
yeah, and you know when you and when you start to look at the way things are right now, you could absolutely live that life. Like on both sides of the spectrum, men and women. Like be scrolling. I was scrolling through, and I hate this new Instagram update. First of all, pause. Let's
Hmm.
pause there for a second. Um, Zuckerberg, Instagram, fuck you. I know we're gonna post there anyway, but take that bullshit ass algorithm you got set up and throw that shit out the window. Like, there's no reason I should be scrolling and I just see random niggas' faces that I have never seen before more than people that I've actually subscribed to. Like, that's full on ass talking about, oh, well, because you liked XYZ, you might like this person. No, 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 no. No, I didn't ask for that. I don't want you to tell me what I might like. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not how that's not what people go to social media for. Anyway, scrolling through and you see the advancement, the extreme advancement of sex toys for women, for men,
Oh,
dolls,
oh
all
yeah,
types of shit, right? So what I was getting at is you could absolutely live that life on either side as a man or a woman or a woman and be just absolutely fine. Like what besides companionship, right? You know, if you absolutely want companionship, but for you, you lucky. You got three girls.
yeah. Now, you know what? The algorithms, it is crazy. Social media is crazy. It's crazy how much we as a people are influenced by what we see. VH1, and I'm going off on tangent. VH1 is bringing Love and Hip Hop back, and then now they have a new show with it's basically like a black. It's like Cheaters for black people. This shit gonna be fucking up some households, man, because people really value social media. They really believe in that shit. We have really just become a disassociated culture. Like we just don't even know what's real and fake anymore to each other. And you said it, man. You getting it right there on that little small screen, and that's what it is.
Yep. Yep. And that's, and that's partially the problem today, with relationships and shit like that. Like, shit don't last because you pop up and you start scrolling through these reels and you start scrolling through, if you're one of them TikTok heads or whatever, and you see, what they're telling you is the ideal relationship. What they're telling you is happiness, right? And the bulk of them motherfuckers in them little TikToks and reels, either they're in a fresh relationship or they not happy. They doing it for fucking clicks and for money.
Mm-hmm.
And we as humans in general, men, women, indifferent, don't have the mental capacity to understand that. Instead, we think I should be that happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, I deserve that. Yeah, you absolutely do. We all do. We all
Mm-hmm.
absolutely deserve that. But understand the reality behind it. Is that the reality? Is that reality, or is that a show? Just
Mm-hmm.
like as if you were watching TV. And because they don't see it on TV, instead they're seeing it on an iPad or a phone, they feel like it's more close to reality. And
Yeah.
that's some that's a perception thing that we
Yeah.
have to do better with as humans.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. I agree. We don't have a VP here, but the January 6th trials are going on. Uh, that's happening. How you feel about all of that going on from what you know?
I was watching I watched the hearing the other night. Some of the hearing
Mm-hmm.
the other night. when
Mm-hmm.
they put the night on, and it's crazy. It's wild. They out for blood. They definitely out for blood. From what I saw this week, Steve Bannon, correct me if I'm wrong on the first
Yep.
name.
Yep.
Trump's guy is he was found guilty and is subject to sentencing in November or maybe
Looking
October.
like misdemeanors though.
Yeah, they probably hit him with some misdemeanors, no Fs. But who knows, right? We still, when you pair them together, he might have some time to do,
Mm.
which could be interesting. But as I'm watching it, like they showed some clips of, you know, on January 6th or the day after January 6th, where Trump was addressing the nation,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't want to say basically that there was going to be accountability for the actions of the people that did XYZ. And he was still, he didn't want to say that the election was done. He didn't want to clearly say that. And I think that's important, in what they're trying to do. They're trying to paint it as, hey, you incited this shit. Like, you caused this shit,
Mm-hmm.
and all the lead up. And they even showed, a conversation with Don Jr., his son, who is by far one of the most annoying, unrealistic, fucking right wing pieces of shit in the world. And he even was like, "Yo, he gotta condemn this shit." Like,
Right.
they got his recording of him saying, "Yo, he has to condemn this shit. Like, we gotta go hard. We gotta go 100% on this, and he has to condemn this. This looks bad, right? What else do you need? What else? And then you got Melania talking about, I didn't know this was happening. I was too busy trying to take a picture of one of the rugs in the White House. Bitch, fuck you mean this wasn't happening? Nobody ran to you and was like, yo, we got to keep you safe.
Yo, the thing is, right? Hey, Donald Trump is from Queens, New York. Okay, this white guy, hate him or love him, he's Gotti, man. Ain't nothing gonna happen to this motherfucker. Nothing is going to happen. If it was going to happen, it would have happened already.
He's a thug.
Donald Trump is an OG gangster. If something was going to happen to him already, it would have happened by now. Why do we even need the trials? Why? The government locks up people for less. You know what I'm saying? With less evidence, with less scrutiny, less charges. Nothing's gonna happen here. It's all this whole thing. It's great. It looks good. It goes to the causes of the left to say, yeah, well, this is what happened, and hopefully it sways people back to voting for the party that we as a people kind of think we should, but the Democratic Party we know ain't doing shit either. Um, but nothing's gonna happen here. This is all for political gain. It's all dog and pony show. Nothing's gonna happen. Let's be real. If anybody was really gonna go and face some real time for this, they would have already had him. This shit ain't even necessary.
Yeah, the sad part is I think you're right there. And what makes it sad is that, you know, and I think we're bipartisan. I think you and I, at least,
VP
you
is
know,
not.
we're realistic, but we do understand, that generally, historically, the Democratic Party has been the party that has the best interest for us and our people historically, at least on the surface.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you.
but the sad part about this is that they feel the need to try and get this political gain. The only way to do that is to have to paint this picture of Donald Trump and January 6th, that the Democratic Party, they, when I say they, haven't done enough for people to just say, I'm gonna vote for them, and I'm not gonna vote for Trump if he's the nominee, or I'm not gonna go back to a Republican president.
Yep. And that's the
That's the
best.
problem.
That's the best thing that we can get is that we understand we understand the left and the right. And we understand that a lot of what the right believes in isn't on the surface good for the people. But the problem is, again, the Democrats have been so empty with everything else they're doing, at some point, as a real human being that lives and drives and does all these things going to work, you complained about gas prices. People that don't drive anywhere or go to work, it's like, oh, it ain't that bad. Why are you crying? You got money to go on vacation. Why are you crying? Because I'm an everyday fucking citizen. Gas hasn't been this high in my lifetime. Why is it this high now? I have student loans. Hey, some people got into student loans. They say 80% of student loans are owned by black people. A lot of the student loan education did not exist. You gave loans to people that you knew couldn't afford it. They're having professions that aren't going to pay for it. And we have one side of the party, and you have two people. You got Liz Warren, you got Bernie Sanders saying, get rid of all them shits. You got Joe Biden that said waffles. I don't know if we could do this, do that. I'm gonna give him 50. I'm gonna give him 10K. And the people are saying, get rid of this for me. At what point, as a nation, do you just do what the people are asking you to do? And you're supposed to be the people's party. Support the people.
You're right. That's the difference, right? And that's the difference with the parties. And that's why I say we're bipartisan, I think, heavily. And, you know, people, they hate the Republicans. They hate the way they approach stuff. But they approach stuff that their supporters ask for. Their supporters say, and they may not even believe in this shit 100%. Their supporters say, hey, we don't support gay marriage. We don't support, you know, the discussion of homosexuality in schools for our kids. And what do they say? You know what? Fuck it. We got your back. We're going to go out here and we're going to fight this shit. Whether they believe in it or not. You know what I'm saying? They were held hostage inside the Capitol, some of them. And they still are like, nah, fuck that. I'm still riding with this party. I'm still going to do what I got to do. You know, kids are dying. They're still fighting for gun laws because that's what their supporters do, right? The Democrats, not so much. Democrats are like, well, you know, this is what we think is right. And this is what we think. And you know, we think that we need to do maybe just a slim amount of what our people are asking of us, right? Which is the problem, right? Your people are saying, first of all, you pandered like a motherfucker. You're popping up on, you know, hip-hop evening shows. You're popping up on hip-hop radio stations. You have a message that basically says, yo, if you vote for anybody other than me, you're not black, right?
Crazy.
And now you're sitting here in office, and black people are just saying, or the people that supported you are just saying, hey, listen, we just went through a fucked up 4 years with the guy before you. We trusted you to fix things and make things better after him. And these are the things that we're asking for, right? And one of them being, hey, student loan forgiveness. And he's like, all right, well, maybe I can throw you guys a bone. Maybe I could throw you 10K. When you got the people in your own party looking at you saying, yo, get rid of this shit. Get rid of it. Right. You want to make it through this 4 years and get it potentially another 4, you going to need to do this. And he's like, let me see. I promised 10, so I can't go back on that. What are we doing? And to me, that's the difference in parties, right? With the Republicans, right or wrong, what we think about it, it could be right or wrong. They could, you know, we could feel whatever as far as guns. We could feel whatever as far as homosexuality. We could feel whatever as far as gay marriage. We could feel whatever as far as abortion. But if their supporters say, yo, we're not voting for you if you don't support this, they're like, all right, we support it. But the Democrats want to be holier than thou, right? And we're like, yo, just give us this. Give us a fucking bone. Like,
just do it.
Help us, dog.
Just do it. They get in there, they overturn Roe versus Wade. Their people are happy. We asking for student loans,
right?
and that's it.
And you know, and they'll tap dance around it. Oh well, you know what? We'll forgive student loans for, you know, GI. You know, we'll get rid of them for some of the people that served in the military, that served the country. Yeah, we got that. Oh, what about the ones, you know, we'll get rid of some of them that were under some of these companies that have historically been sued or done something, unethical. We'll waive those and get rid of those. Yeah, no problem. But you still got listen, man. I got people I got people that I've worked alongside and that have reported to me that have master's degrees. I had someone reporting to me that had a fucking doctrines. Like, what doctors? What are you doing? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why are you? And you ask them, yo, why are you working this job? Because I got bills to pay. I got bills to pay. Why are you working a job that's gonna pay you $50K a year and you got a master's?
and that's the problem, Steve, that when we have these discussions and we talking with people, you got to take yourself out of the equation. You have to realize that you're not the gold standard, and there are people out here that are literally hurting. People say, well, hey, I didn't choose to take out student loans. Okay, you went a different route in life, but don't fucking complain to me and talk about what somebody wants rights for that you don't have any understanding of that, but you understand because they want those rights and you feel like they need those rights, and that's cool. But don't disassociate with the person that made a bad decision to have student loans because they weren't educated, because they were allowed to take out more than they're ever going to get back, and they're hurting. You can't just do it both ways. We have become a nation where we decide and especially black people, educated black people, we get in this pocket where we get into these things that it's only a thing for us if we fuck with it, we understand it. But you don't want to understand anything else. To your point, the Republican Party, you got people in the Republican Party, you got gay people that look at some of the things that the Republicans do, and because their core values of other things mean other things, they're gonna sacrifice and be those people to still fall in line with the party because it's doing what they want them to do. The Democrats, we haven't gotten a goddamn thing that the people of our party want. We telling you we want student loans to go away, and you don't want to do that shit. Kamala was out here with the chucks and all this shit, people voting, all of this shit. But we ask you for one thing. We can't even get the George Floyd bill done.
Right.
Can't
Yeah.
even get that. But if we
Yeah.
didn't vote for you, we're not black. And yeah, I don't want to hear all of the political rigmarole of they can't do this, they can't do that. Miss me with that shit. Like
No, no,
when
no,
is
no.
when
Because on paper they can't do that. But guess what? Guess what Donald Trump said? Donald Trump said, "Rip that motherfucking paper up." What's the worst that can happen? What they gonna do to me?
they're gonna get a
Right?
committee, they're gonna get a committee and prolong this shit and talk about what I did wrong, and then nothing gonna happen.
Right. And look where he's at right now. He's going through it, but he's gonna be just fine.
He ain't going through shit. He's playing golf right now. He's doing what he was doing as president. He ain't going through shit. He's gonna be just fine. Just fine. Just fine.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy, man. Like they, and you figure when you sit and you think about Biden and you think about Kamala, however you want to
Kamala.
say her name,
Kamala.
and how they popped up and they pandered, and then you're just like, all I want, like, all we want is this, and they're like, well, we're taking care of Asians because since COVID started they were treated wrong, and we're taking care of we gave you guys a black Supreme Court justice. Okay, well, she's still outnumbered. How much difference is she going to make? Maybe in the long run, maybe 10, 12, 15, 18 years from now when some of these people, retire or die, right? Maybe she'll make a difference if she makes it that long, right? Because, and I say if in the sense of, who knows, anything can happen where she's not there any longer,
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me, hey, I'm setting you up for success. No, don't set me up for success for 10 years from now, 20 years from now. I need you to set me up for success today.
Right now.
I
Right
need
now.
you to set me up for success so I can set mine up for success. And
Right
that's
now.
what the Republicans do, is they set their people up for success, their currents, and their currents are responsible for their futures. Democrats think they know what's right for our futures. They know what's right for our kids and stuff. And well, 10, 20, 30 years from now, your kids are going to be better off because of the decisions they made with, putting a Supreme Court justice in there that does X, Y, Z. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, what does that do today? How does that help me make sure my kid makes it 10, 20, 30 years from now?
Right. Right.
That's the
Yeah.
difference in parties to me.
Yeah. 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 And shout out to Mama Blackman commenting talking about how the doctors aren't didn't pay back loans. Yeah, these people were in the know. They were, getting over, and everyday citizen like us that, decided that school was the best thing for me to do and try to do it and go get it. We're looking to our current administration, the people that said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. I can't even believe that. I can't even believe that, right? And this is one thing that pisses me off. I can't even believe that at some point we accepted that that was okay. The man literally told us, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. That has to be, that cannot be ignored as one of the most racist things that have been said in a long time. If you don't vote for this 70-plus-year-old white man from Scranton, Pennsylvania, you're not black. Has anybody really thought about that?
I think a lot of people have thought about it. I think what allowed that to go through, unfortunately, was what we were dealing with as black people and what we saw our future as black people
And I also
under
think
that administration.
it's just because we vote Democrat. We just
And that,
blindly vote Democrat because we could have went with Bernie. Bernie never said no shit like that. Liz ain't never said no shit like that.
oh, you mean in the nomination phase. Yeah. Yeah. But again, I'll always go back to Joe Biden may not have been the best option, and I think a lot of people, including you and I and Vari and E and every our circle, all knows that Joe Biden was not the best option from a political standpoint. He was the best option to win, because as bad as it is, don't get me wrong, I think it absolutely would have been 100 times worse if Trump would have remained president. 100 times worse for us, right? 100 times easily. Our country would be
He did
super
give us
fucked up.
those stimmies.
Yeah. Well, we're paying them stimmies back right now. That's your gas prices. That's your gas price. No, we're not gonna charge you. We're not gonna hold you accountable for that. Oh, Yahtzee. We found a way. And we can blame it on the companies. And we can say, that's not us. What are you talking about? This is not the government. You
Well,
know?
we also are, continuing our country long. I don't know how you want to say it, but continuing our feud with Mother Russia, our 50-year-old feud with Mother Russia. That is
Yeah.
a part of it too.
Yeah, but I think everybody's kind of in the middle of that. And I think, right? And so that's the other difference too, though, right? If when you talk about right from wrong and you talk about ethical and lack thereof, you have a Democratic president there who, if Trump was there, he would have been hands off. I feel very confident in saying that he would have been like, "Hey, Ukraine got hands." You know what I'm saying? Like when you see somebody fighting and you're like, "Ooh, should I break it up?" You know what? He got hands. Like that's how I think Trump would have looked at it. I don't think he would have put any sanctions. So yeah, our gas prices would have probably been much lighter, but we would be probably living through some really nasty times, and Ukraine would be in a really, really, really bad spot right now. Those are still humans. End of the day, right? They're still humans. So
Let me ask you one thing now. To that point, and you're right, you're not wrong in that, but um, $600 stimulus checks being sent out to those with children.
the
Uh,
Santies.
okay, yeah, Florida. But let me ask
I'll
you
take
this.
it. Hope I get it.
Let me ask you this though. What does improve for Black people?
Oh, nothing, nothing. But listen, let's let me make sure that you completely understand, and I think you understand where I am, and I understand where you are. When you talk about a totem pole, right, and you talk about a pecking order, black people are dead last, and it's unfortunate. It's 100% unfortunate, and it's sad that we can say that, and it's sad that we know that. It's 100%. It's fucked up in the world that we live in today. And here's the thing, right? We don't have to be last. right? We're last, and we allow it to happen, and we stay there. We have a cultural problem. We have a societal problem where we allow this. Do we understand how important the black dollar is? You got the verses that popped up during the pandemic, and you got politicians popping into the comments. You got these billion-dollar corporations getting people popping in on social media to make comments in here because they want to get a piece of that black dollar. If we completely understood the power that we have as people and just found a way to stop fucking hating on one another and thinking that, we have to be better than the next person and this person ain't on our level, and just band together, we'd be in a far better place as people. But we're dead last on the totem pole when it comes to politicians. Listen, COVID, you saw Asians start getting beat up, right? This is a prime example. Immediately get a bill. Immediately. Black people been getting killed, shot, targeted since ever. And we can't get a bill. You got men getting pulled out of their cars and killed at random traffic lights. We had another young man recently who got chased by a cop by cops at a random traffic stop into his home, where they told his mother shut the fuck up, and they beat the shit out of him. Come on, man.
Yeah, and yet we can't get the George Floyd bill done. And yet everyone wants to tell you, the political pundits will tell you, "Oh, we can't do this. It's not the way politics work." But the Asian, to your point, the Asian hate crime bill gets passed unanimously, just gets done. It's the focus. It gets done. Black folks ain't got nothing yet. But yet, if we didn't vote for this 78-year-old, whatever he is, whatever 78, 70, whatever he is, old white man from Scranton, we didn't vote for him. We're not black.
I told y'all about a year ago, maybe somewhere like that. I told y'all the stuff that Joe Biden does for us is specifically for legacy. It's not with any true intent. For example, Kamala. Hey, I made history. First woman vice, first black woman vice, first non-American, right? Cause she's what, Indian heritage or some
Indian,
shit,
Jamaican.
right? Vice, right? Did that. First black woman Supreme Court justice. Look, I did that. He's what he's doing is, it seems more so for the history books. This stuff is for the history books. It's not to say, hey, I made things better for these people that I told, I was going to, that I was standing behind. No, 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 no. No, because that hasn't happened. Let me tell you one thing. That has not happened. When you and miss me with the bullshit of, oh, well, high prices and inflation is a sign of a good economy. No. It's a good economy for who? For who? For people with money. It's not a good economy for people struggling. It's not a good economy for somebody here in Florida who's paying $2,500 or $2,000 or $3,000 for a 1, 2, or 3 bedroom apartment, not a mortgage, a fucking apartment. The inflation on rent here in Florida is out of control.
Mm,
And you telling me that's a sign of a good economy? Nah, sorry.
mm.
You can tell me what you read in them books on economics, but I can tell you what reality is, and that's the difference.
And what we feel, and the everyday people, and that's the thing. People can't bring themselves to the reality of other people. Oh, I'm good. I'm financially savvy. I've been doing what I've been doing. I've been doing my thing. I don't feel it, but somebody else is. And if we're gonna say we care about the American people, I care about the people you can't relate to and everything. Don't just care about the people you can't relate to. You care about their rights and what they're doing. Care about the everyday American that's telling you, hey, I'm not good right now. I'm not. Gas was so high. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy. Things are just it's just yeah, I don't know, man. It's like we were saying once before in the chat. Oh, if you can afford a vacation, you shouldn't complain about gas prices. Why? Why not? I can't be upset that gas is $5 because I drive every day. Why? Come on, man. What are we doing?
Joe Biden got COVID this week. It came out, and I think most recently this morning there was an update that he's feeling much better. This was they believe it was the most recent variant BA.5, some shit like that, which is an Omicron variant. Where it's very highly contagious. They're unfamiliar with I lost the word right now. You still lose. I completely lost the fucking word. You still lose your smell. Symptoms. That's the word I was looking for. You still lose your smell in some cases on this one.
He and Joe got COVID.
Normal cough and stuff. Yeah. But
Bogota Joe.
Bojo.
Bojo.
Bojo. But yeah, they they said he's doing a lot better. He said he was double vaxxed, double boosted, So he put out a statement. He sounded fine. He sounded a lot better when he actually recorded his than Donnie did, because Donnie looked and sounded like shit when he had COVID. But I think this version is a lot. This variant is probably a lot less severe. Because you're seeing people bounce back from this shit a lot quicker, a lot easier nowadays. So it is what it is.
Brother Fauci also announced that he's going to retire soon. Finally, the man is how old? Like damn near fucking 80.
Fauci said he plans to retire before the end of Joe Biden's presidency.
And how long after he retires does he get a show?
Fauci?
Gonna have a show immediately.
He might. I don't know. Fauci, I think he seems more to me like the guy that's gonna do some type of book, or something like that.
That's already done. But I mean, he's definitely gonna have a show for sure. I bet money on it. He's gonna have a show because he gained so much popularity from the pandemic. I think he's the person of all in society that won the most. He became the most nameless person. Like, we didn't even know this guy existed, and he became the most important person in the world at one point. And he was wrong several times.
Yeah.
When he said don't wear the mask, I don't think the mask is necessary. Oh boy, how wrong were you then?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's old, man. He's old, so I don't know that he's gonna. The reason that I question it is because just as many people that like him and want to hear it is just as many people that hate him. Like, that whole right wing hates Fauci. They hate him for no reason. They hate him simply for thinking that he's saying what this is what's gonna keep people safe. Think about that. He didn't do anything to anyone to be disliked or hated. He basically went off of the medical training that he had and looking at everything that was happening and the not knowing, the unknown, to say, I think it's in our best interest if we do XYZ. And people immediately hated him.
Yeah, I mean, the right doesn't want their rights and civil liberties to be treaded on. So we know what that's about. And, we know stupid people play stupid games, and people have learned throughout the course of time what it is and what it ain't. And, my only thing was, I never thought that everything he said was law. He was wrong at times, but I think we totally glamorized this guy. He became someone who got used to the camera. No one cared about what he had to say before this pandemic. Nobody did. Nobody knew who he was.
Well, I think.
And he's still a politician at the end of the day.
I think that's extreme and harsh. I do think people knew him because he was there through swine flu.
Motherfuckers ain't know him. He was there, but motherfuckers
the
ain't
everyday
know him.
American didn't know him, but he was still there. Like, he still played a part. He played a part there. But I think, hey, listen, this is something unprecedented. Nobody lived through this. Nobody ever heard of this. No, it came out of nowhere. The only thing, there's going to be people that are going to be wrong about something. It's going to happen. So all he can do is try to make what he thought was the best calls. I thought he got a really rough edged sword from a lot of people. And sure, he was fucked up. I mean, he's 70 something years old. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to think back to the
80.
medical training, or 80 something. He's the medical training that he had, what, 40, 50, 60 years old, or 60 years ago, potentially. And then trying to look through maybe some books and shit, and, we have different technology nowadays. And all of that comes into play when you're making these decisions. And again, the unknown comes into play when you're talking about this. When you first pop out and you see people dying from some shit, then yeah, you're gonna go extreme. And you should. There's no way that at the beginning of this he should have just been like, it's just a virus. We'll be okay. Like I for one, I'm on that side of things when he said that stuff, and he was wrong a bunch of times, and it's gonna happen. Like, it's not like it was the fever, it's not like it was the common cold that we've seen for decades and centuries. This is something completely different that nobody heard of. So kill him. They can kill him what they want, but I feel like he still deserves his flowers for it's still ballsy to go get out there and put stuff out there knowing that you've been wrong and can potentially be wrong.
It's his job.
It's a job.
He's gonna have a show though after he retires. I bet you money.
He'll be gone soon, so we'll see somebody new popping in there.
That'll be the talk of the town. Who's gonna replace Fauci? That's gonna be the talk of the town. He's polarized that position so much since the pandemic. It's gonna be the next big thing. It's gonna be like, who's the next Jeopardy host, which they still have not made a final decision on.
Yeah, it's true. Alex is always going to be the guy, man.
You got Ken, and then they alternate between Ken. I can't remember his last name, who one of the most winning champions in history, and then you got Blossom, our girl Blossom. She hosts Jeopardy often, but they can't even get that right. So I don't know.
I like her from Big Bang.
I know you like her.
No,
you've always liked Blossom.
Tell me, as we speak about the Big Bang, how did science nerds? Actually, this is probably a better question on VPs here. A religious person asked me the other day, how did the cavemen live through the Big Bang, but dinosaurs didn't?
Next topic.
Oh man, what you been watching? Yo, listen, shout out to P Valley. I know we kind of glossed over that, and getting back to that, shout out to them. I think we'll get into that in this next segment. But what you been watching?
Man, P Valley, gotta watch the new one today. Other than that, I haven't looked at anything else new that I could think of.
Okay.
Yeah.
P Valley is well done, man. Well written. They're doing a good job with that shit. I don't know who's coming up with it. I hope it stays where it is and it gets good. I mean, it has some stuff in there that I could live without, but listen, I get it, man. They're trying to be progressive, and if we're gonna show women, we're gonna show men and stuff. All right, whatever, do you? But from once you get past that, you get past those two pieces, the nudity. There's a lot of real shit in there. And I think we're gonna see it get really good coming up in these next few episodes when we have to see like Uncle, what's his name again?
Shit.
Clifford. We're gonna have to see Uncle Cliff kind of step in and like console Lil Murda. You know what I'm saying? All the while having to deal with everything that's going on at the Pink, like which Whispers
at the Pink.
Oh, Whispers. Oh my gosh, I like Whispers, and the other light skinned one, that's doing the negotiations.
I know what you're talking about.
Yes, 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 yes. But they, I mean, well written, man. Well written. They've done a great job. I think we're gonna see, to your point, we're gonna see Diamond get well involved in everything that's going on, and that's gonna be interesting to see as well.
Yep.
But they're doing a good job. The Mercedes experience was wild. Coach, coach stepped back like,
Oh, coach was mad as shit.
he
You
got
in here,
jealous.
you in here getting pussy.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, that was funny.
That was wild. That was
That
wild.
was
But
funny.
that kind of goes to the point of early when you talked to, what you talked about, men and women don't know. Like, cause she said it. She's like, we've been married 19 years. You don't know, like, whether,
Mm-hmm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, that's the problem. Again, the problem with society. He's the breadwinner. She's comfortable. They live a comfortable life.
Oh, you flipped it. I like how you flipped it.
You know.
I like how you flipped it. Yeah, because he was made out to be the villain in this situation.
Oh, no doubt.
But that was a lifestyle you subscribed to. You chose to be with the man. You like it. When were you gonna walk away?
And you allowed him to have that experience, right? She knew about it. She said she knew about it in previous
Signed
episodes.
off on it.
So you let it happen, and
Mm-hmm.
now there's a problem, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
but they're doing a good job with P Valley, man. I thought it was one of those shows that was like stars picked up simply because during the pandemic there wasn't new recording, so they just took some stuff that was already recorded. But it turned out to be a much better show than I thought it was going to be. At least looking at the second season.
It's definitely entertaining. I'm lying. I actually tried to start watching the Kevin Costner joint, Yellowstone. I tried to start
I
watching that.
know everyone tells me that shit's so good, man.
It was interesting. I got to go back and pick up where I left off because I kind of like fell asleep and it kept running. But I wanted to pick up on that, and then I got to watch the new season of Animal Kingdom that came out. I love Animal Kingdom. I don't think you've been on that, but I missed. They had a whole season that I just completely missed the last season. So I gotta go get on that again. But yeah,
So I watched. I've seen Animal Kingdom in passing, and that shit just because I'm sitting in the living room when it's on or whatever. And it's good. It's still good. It's still good. But I need to watch it. I definitely need to watch it. I watched. I watched the new Bill Burr stand up.
really, he has a new one.
Yeah, live at Red Rocks on it's on Netflix. I thought it was pretty good. He's weird. Like some of his delivery is not the greatest to me.
Because he's
But
a white racist dude from Boston.
right, he's white and racist, but not like that's the crazy part.
No,
Like
he's
you white,
racist.
like you white and racist, but not racist at the same time.
He
Like,
racist. He's just funny. Fuck it.
yeah. So I watched it. There was some parts that I really didn't like at all, but some that I thought was okay. Um, I also did watch some of Yellowstone, but that was a while ago, and that's why I say I got to get back to it. But the other thing that I started, and I got to get back to, I forget what it's called, but it's a spinoff of All American.
Oh, Homecoming.
Homecoming. Yeah, I started it, but then I realized that they were doing flashbacks to the original All American, so I cut it off because I want to finish All American before I get to it. Because they were like, since this happened, me and so did this and that, and I was like, maybe I need to go back and finish All American before I watch Homecoming. So I'm gonna do that. But I look forward to that too. I think it's gonna be pretty good.
Yeah, I watched it. And I've debated this with people, and I'm gonna let you get into it. But Simone has become the most toxic character of that series.
Oh,
Just gonna
okay.
say it.
I'm interested in seeing that. I'm interested. Did they pull in um people from the previous from regular All American? Are
Mm-hmm.
they
Yep.
okay?
Yep.
Okay, then I'm definitely gonna watch it.
Yep. And Simone is the most toxic character
Okay,
of all time in that show.
I'll be watching that. And I've been watching my Yankees, and they came out cold out of the
last
All-Star
night.
break. So
Yeah,
they lost
in
2 to
Baltimore,
Houston.
and lost last night in Baltimore.
Damn. Are they playing in Baltimore today?
I don't know, probably because they played here last night. I told you to come here and watch it. We probably would have been at the game.
I know. I should have. fucking done it, man. I
Terrible,
think. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna make.
terrible,
I gotta make it happen.
terrible.
Um. Yeah. What else is going on, man? I haven't been. Other than that, I haven't been watching much of anything else. Lots of cartoons and shit, with the kid. But spending time in
Well,
the pool is hot as shit, man.
it is hot. It's hot
Yo, this
here too,
this
so I know
global
it's hot.
warming shit. This global warming shit is nothing. Is nothing to mess with, yo.
It's real.
I went out this morning at 9:30, 9 o'clock in the morning to walk the dog, and the sun was like cooking my skin. Like,
It's real.
it's hot. This shit is bad, yo. It's hot, man.
It is real. Training camp. Training camp for rookies for most clubs. Just passed this weekend. Rookies. Some teams everyone reported, but a lot of teams rookies reported this week. But this week coming up, veterans are reporting. So we're really getting into the shit of football, and tickets are out there. I just bought myself a ticket for the Jets versus Miami game in October. Um, so yeah, man, our season is coming up. Our happy place is coming up.
I know, and that's usually what happens. Yo. You get into this funk time of month, time of year,
Mm-hmm.
and then football comes and makes it all better for a few
Mm-hmm.
months. It's like your escape. Um, yeah, I look forward to football season. I've been doing some best ball drafts, fantasy football drafts. Best ball, basically you draft now, and then they, automatically your best player at each position gets put in each week, and you get those points, and you play, and you play for money. So I've been doing some of those. My teams have been coming out a little interesting. New faces, new places, lack of quarterbacks in places. Yeah, this year's fantasy football about to be different.
It's about to be super different. Denver, Denver. I'm interested to see how the Broncos fare with Russell Wilson now.
Broncos are gonna be a tough out. That whole division, that division is gonna be a wild one.
It's
You
gonna be
got
nasty. Russell Wilson's gonna
Broncos,
struggle.
Oakland.
Russell Wilson's gonna struggle at first, though. I'm telling you now. He's the type of guy that he needs to get in there and get beat up to remind him of what it really is.
You got Broncos, Oakland,
Chargers.
the Chargers, and who's the last one for that division? Broncos, Oakland, Chargers. I'll let you find that. But yeah, thinking of Russ in Denver, I think he's gonna do well because he's gonna have Jerry Judy. He's gonna have a really good receiving core, but he's also gonna have a running
Broncos,
back.
Chargers, and Kansas City.
Kansas City, yeah, that division is gonna be different. I like Javonte Williams out there, and this is gonna be the first time since Marshawn Lynch that Russ has had an actual good running back. Don't get me wrong, Chris Carson is a good running back, but he was always hurt and he was one dimensional. I think more catching than running. I feel like now you're gonna have a Javonte Williams who can run the ball up the gut. He can go between the tackles. He can go outside and he can catch the ball. So add that to Russ being able to extend the plays with his legs and having some pretty good wide receivers out there, and Cortland Sutton and Jerry Judy. I think Denver is in for a good season. With Kansas City struggling because no Tyreek is gonna be. It's
gonna hurt him.
Yeah, we're gonna really have to see where
Pat Mahomes.
Pat can make plays and make throws because you got Travis Kelce getting older. We saw that last year. He was still good, but he was getting older, and I think another year of age, and no, you don't have to keep your cornerback or your safety honest because Tyreek is going to blow the top off of you. Pause. Now you gonna have Travis Kelce getting that double coverage. I think their number one right now is Juju Smith
Yep.
Schuster.
You got Juju Smith. You got Sky
Hardman,
Moore, who is a rookie, and you got Hardman. Yep.
Miko. Yeah, so it's
Oh,
gonna
they
be
also have Scanlon. They
yeah,
also
no.
have Scanlon.
Yeah, I'm not worried about him.
It's gonna be
He can't catch.
a lot of these dudes are under 6 feet. I mean, just Tyreek was as well, but they've continued to have that core that has the small scat back type wide receivers. So yeah,
I'm
and
very
shit.
interested in the Chargers, man. The
No,
Chargers, I think, are gonna.
I'm more interested in the Raiders. You got Derek
Mm,
Carr back with Devontae Adams.
yep,
Devontae
yep.
Adams, who he balled out with in college. You also got Hunter Renfro. Uh,
I think
yeah,
Devontae is gonna cause a problem for tight end. I forget his name. Light skinned dude from over there.
Darren Waller.
Waller. Yep.
I
I
think
mean,
he'll be just
in the way
fine.
it targets. In the way it targets.
Yeah, of course, target share. But listen, I think that team. I actually thought that team was one piece away last year with the defense they got. Crosby, they just played tough. Plus, they went through a scandal with the head coach,
And they
the
still
guy that
almost made it.
you know what I mean. The guy that was brought in. Gruden had Gruden been there. Who knows what they was going to do, right? The guy that been brought in, we bringing him back. Gruden got us this far in the past. We went and got him. All this stuff breaks. They had to deal with that nonsense mid-season.
And they lost their wide receiver. Don't let's not forget that. The one that had the car accident and killed the girl.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, 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 yep. So that team went through a lot. They went through a lot and still almost persevered. So the AFC West is going to be, and I know you love the Chargers. I know you love Herbert and what they got going on. I just don't think the Chargers are ever going to do anything. I just
Henry
think they're
Ruggs.
cursed. Henry Ruggs. I just think the Chargers are cursed. I always think so. But
I like there was another team that I really was liking. So we talked about the Chargers, we talked about Kansas City, Oakland. Oh man, who was it? Someone that made a move.
not in the AFC West.
No. Dang it. I'm losing my chain of thought. But yeah, I mean, I hope that there's still some guys out there that are unsigned. I hope the Cowboys go out and get Julio Jones. We know he's only going to play 4 games, but if he plays 4 big games and can be there for the playoffs, he could be a difference maker. Even Odell's unsigned still today. I think there's another wide receiver that's unsigned, but I can't remember. But those guys, I think they have to land somewhere, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
they're not gonna still be there by week 3, right? I mean, Odell was coming off an injury. He's hurt. Just had knee surgery, so that's different. But Julio,
Yeah. I mean, it's the injuries. It's the injuries and everything else, and it's a tough gamble. So who knows?
Arizona just paid
Your boy, Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray overrated. But he's gonna set a bar for your boy Lamar, money wise. Lamar Jackson.
Lamar, I don't know. Lamar's dealing with a different level of ownership.
He
Steve
is.
Bisciotti, Steve Bisciotti, and them
But he
people.
could go somewhere else. He don't got to stay there.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's gonna have to wind up doing that because I don't think Steve Bisciotti's gonna pay this guy what he's due.
Yeah. If I listen, man, if I was Lamar, I'm sitting out.
I'm not even reporting to camp.
Right.
This
I'm
dude
sitting
reported
out.
to camp.
Yeah, and he did report. I wouldn't have done that, and I would definitely sit out because this guy takes hits, man. He runs the ball a lot, and no, I'm not taking that risk, yo. If I was him, and I'm always on the side of the team. This time I'm on the side of the player for him specifically because he's a different kind of player who can absolutely get hurt. Like I was on the
I'm not.
Cowboys side against Dak, and I'm a Cowboys fan, and I'm a Dak fan. But when it comes to Lamar, I think Lamar needs to hold out, man.
I'm not even going to camp because I'm not going to camp. I'm not doing none of that. You can get hurt in camp and then be done though. And you
Yeah.
ain't got a contract. You ain't got a long-term contract.
Yep.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Lamar Jackson, I think his mom is his agent. He gets flack for that. I think he reported as a sign of good faith, but I think that team needs to pay this guy. If they don't have Lamar Jackson, and it's crazy, Ravens fans have been like, "Oh, well, Hundy could take us, yo. We good." Nah, you don't have Lamar Jackson
Yeah.
for
Okay.
16, 17 games. You're done. That
Yeah.
team is done.
Yeah. We're, so there was rumors circulating that Odell could end up in Buffalo with
That'll
Josh
be the rich.
Allen.
That'll be the rich getting richer because Buffalo.
Yeah.
I hate Buffalo, but I've been in my own admission several times to say they've been building that team the way they're supposed to. The only problem they have is if Josh Allen gets hurt, they're done. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's true. That's a
That's
true
it. But
statement.
other than that, the
But
team
if
is
but if he
built.
could stay healthy, oh my god! And then you got let's say they were to get Odell, right?
They've got on that team right now. They got Josh Allen, James. They got Devin Singletary
Mhm.
as a running back. They've got James Cook, the brother of Delvin Cook, who is a beast. Okay. Then they have Diggs.
Stephon,
I don't know this next receiver they got. They got Jameson Crowder now.
Greg
Gabriel
Davis
Davis.
or Gabriel Davis, yeah,
Gabriel Davis. And Dawson Knox
Knox, yeah.
at tight end. OJ Howard. So, I mean, on paper, their offense is solid, but it's really the
The team,
defense
the team's
as
gonna
a
be
team.
wild, yo. The
Yeah,
team is gonna be wild.
it's really the defense that is really underestimated. They picked up AJ Espinoza in the third round from Iowa last year or the year before. They've got guys like that just they're getting better and better every year. And so that team is just going to be tough to deal with, man. They might have that run that they had in the 90s where they just made it to the Super Bowl every year for no reason. So I don't know. I hate it, but fine. My team's getting better, so we'll see.
Yeah, I like the running back you guys got. Hall is it?
Brees Hall. Brees Hall.
Brees Hall. I like that kid, man.
Best running back in college, man.
Yeah, he's gonna be. I mean, you guys have a pretty good line,
Yeah.
so you just all you really need, honestly, man. Honestly, I think you guys need to go get Odell or Julio. I mean, I know it's a pain in the ass, but you need to be able. You need to stop them from being able to fill that box because if
Mm-hmm.
if people can stop filling that box, pause, then Brees Hall gonna get off.
And we
Like
got Michael Carter. I think we made some good moves. I think our biggest problem is the defense. We could not stop a nosebleed running the ball last year. But we made some improvements. I hope we get Quan Alexander, who's out there as a free agent. I hope we go pick him up this year. But I think our team is gonna make improvement, man. I mean, rookie coach last year, bad roster. I think we killed it in the draft. I think we're gonna be all right this year. We're gonna see. I hope we battle Buffalo for the number one and number two spot. So we'll see. First game of the season is first Lamar and the Ravens, September 11th in Jersey. You already know the whole feels is gonna be there for September 11th. It's gonna be crazy. We're gonna see.
yeah, man. I look forward to it, man. Football season is right around the corner. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be some fun-filled stuff happening. I'm sure we got draft season coming up. This is the most exciting time of the year in sports to me.
Hmm. I agree. I
So
agree.
look forward to it. What else, man? Anything else hit the news that's noteworthy?
Nope. Still waiting to see what happens with Kevin Durant. Uh, the Jazz, Danny Ainge are asking the Kings ransom for Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be interesting. Shout out to Phil Jackson. Shout out to Big Phil Jackson. Because when the Knicks could have drafted Donovan Mitchell, we took Frank Ntilikina. So thanks.
Is
Thanks a
he
lot.
is he still in the league? In the league?
Somewhere. He's somewhere. He's somewhere riding the bench.
I mean, that's the norm for you guys during that time frame. You also had uh a big dude that went to Dallas.
Porzingis.
Yeah, Porzingis that came through.
Who the fuck
Um,
is Porzingis?
yeah,
Tingus Pingus.
yeah.
The famous Michael Rappaport rant. Tingus Pingus. That shit was funny.
Don't get me wrong. You know, Porzingis played good. He just,
He
he's
did.
he's still a good player. But, um, yeah, I mean, it's like Denver, right? Denver, same thing. Or not Denver, Detroit when they took Darko.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Darko. Imagine, listen, man. Carmelo Anthony would be on a whole different trajectory towards the Hall of Fame if he would have went to that Pistons team with Chauncey and
Rip.
Rip and Sheed
Wow.
and
Sheesh.
Ben and
Wow.
Tyshawn Prince.
Wow.
Like,
yeah. Wow.
imagine.
Wow.
They
Yeah.
definitely would have. I think they definitely would have won another ring.
They
Maybe
would have
two.
won. They would have won 2 or 3. Yeah.
Mhm.
For sure.
Then,
For sure.
then we probably would be having a conversation about who the better player was coming out of that draft between him and Brown.
Melo.
Today.
Melo and Brown.
Today.
Yeah.
You know.
For sure.
But yeah, man. Yeah. I think that's it. Shout out to VP. I know he's dealing with traveling problems, trying to get back to Florida. Hopefully, I can only imagine. Like, I think about how frustrating it is to get delayed and canceled and shit as, when you're flying. But I can only imagine being somebody with special needs, like handicapped, and having to deal with that shit. Now instead of getting a straight direct flight, without having to change planes, now he's gonna have to get lifted and anytime that happens, there's more risk to it. You know what I'm saying? Because now you're depending on some people to get you up out of the seat and into your chair, and hopefully, without any type of problem. And unfortunately, he's got a good heart. And even if something did happen, he wouldn't sue because we already saw the one time where we could have probably had ourselves a restaurant, but he decided to be a good-hearted individual. But
Shout
yeah,
out
man.
to VP.
Shout out to him, man. He's got to stay. Hopefully, he gets back to Florida fine. And if he doesn't, get back easily, hopefully he's one of them people. They've been offering people, like, the airlines are so screwed right now. They've been offering people $5K a head in parties, $10K a head in parties at times to cancel their flight, like to step off and give their seat up. Like, they're giving out money.
Really?
I know there's 3 of them, so if they were to get 5 apiece, listen, man, go ahead, get that rental, rent you a van, right, and drive your ass home from Michigan or wherever you at, because that's what the fuck I would do.
Shout out to VP, man. Hopefully he gets back safely.
Indeed.
Yes, indeed.
Other than that, I think we're good until next week.
Yes, indeed. And
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah, I'm gonna post. Gonna post at some point today. I'm terrible. Post the episode. I'm terrible. I was terrible. Yeah. I was terrible last time. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, about that. But otherwise, it's Castworthy Podcast. You know where to find us. Everywhere, basically. We are the whores of the internet as far as our pod. You can find us on Spotify, Spreaker. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can find us on iHeartRadio. Just about anywhere you can think of. Type in Castworthy. You'll find us. Castworthy_podcast on Instagram. That's probably the ideal. YouTube, Castworthy Podcast. If you want to see these dashingly handsome faces as we chat, that's probably your best bet. But other than that, stay safe out there. COVID is still a thing. I know everybody's still walking around maskless and stuff, which is fine, but still be mindful. Wash your fucking hands. Cover your mouth. All that great stuff that you were doing, do it. Use to go cutlery. That's what I do.
Hand sanitizer.
It's worked ever since. And really, people got dirty mouths anyway, messed up teeth. Like, I'm good, man. Give me a plastic fork, yo. COVID's a thing, man. Mental health is an issue for men, women, and indifferent children as well. Reach out to your people, make sure they're good. And until the next time, we appreciate those checking in. We love you. We are out.